MVP Eli Manning, that's my quarterback, will be back in primetime on Monday Night Football facing the Eagles, who are a game behind Dallas in the NFC East. Philly is in desperate need of a win. Eli will get the nod with Daniel Jones sidelined due to an ankle sprain. Here's head coach Pat Shurmur yesterday.
Considering, Pat, how long it's been, how long the layoff he's had, he's never really experienced this sort of thing in his career. What are your expectations for him Monday night?
I expect him to go out and have a winning performance. That's what I expect.
Just got to go out there and try to get a win for the Giants. And if I'm asked to do that, and I'll analyze everything else after the season.
That's my guy. Former teammate of Eli, Victor Cruz, here with us now. What's going on, Victor?
What's up, guys? What's up, Molly? How you doing?
I'm
What's
good.
up,
good to see you. Let's talk macro with Manning, gentlemen. Stephen A., is Eli a Hall of Famer?
Max Kellerman, Molly Kiram, Rose, Mr. Victor Cruz. I take no pleasure in saying this. He is not a Hall of Famer. He is a two-time Super Bowl champion, but he is not a Hall of Famer. Eli Manning is in his 16th season in the National Football League. He's made the playoffs 6 times. He's missed the playoffs another 10 times. When you look at the 2 Super Bowl titles that he's gotten, one was a 17-14 victory, if I remember correctly. The other one was 21-17. Not exactly an offensive juggernaut, I might add. One could argue, did he really deserve the MVP? He had a beautiful, beautiful hookup with Mario Manningham. He tossed a nice short pass to Plexico Burress to win the first Super Bowl. We get that he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He's been class personified. He's been an Iron Man. But when you look at the great Hall of Fame quarterbacks in NFL history, those who have won Super Bowls, those who have not, Eli Manning was not on their level. It's just that simple. I look at this guy, and he's had great moments. I look at him overall, and I think about the 6 times in 7 years you're missing the playoffs. I think about the number of times, 10 times in 16 years you don't even make the playoffs. You've made the playoffs 6 times in 16 years. And I look at the defense that basically propelled you to your Super Bowl title. I'm not taking anything away from him in terms of respecting, his professionalism, what he brought to the table, the fact that he was reliable. You knew that he would show up every week. But when I think Hall of Famer, you got to have better credentials than that. And when it takes a team to win a Super Bowl, it's not the heroics. Even in a losing situation with Tom Brady and the Eagles, when Tom Brady threw for 500 yards, that was not Eli Manning. I remember the road playoff victories here and there in Atlanta and Green Bay. I get it. But your career is what the Hall of Fame is about. I don't see it.
I'm going to do my Eli Manning Hall of Fame rap first, all right? And then I have something to say about this. And then, Victor, the floor is yours. First, Eli Manning was an Iron Man. He was chasing Brett Favre's record. Now, in order to do, I understand he's a stat compiler. He's 7th in touchdowns and this much in yards. He's top 10 in everything, but he was really a compiler. In order to be a compiler, you have to be good enough as a quarterback, a very competitive position. In American team sports, the quarterback and point guard, those are the 2 most competitive positions. Like everyone who can do it's doing it, and everyone's looking for the great one. Quarterback probably number 1. To compile, you have to be good enough to stay on the field. To be an Iron Man, you have to be tough enough to stay on the field. So those 2 things alone, you're talking about 16 seasons. You're talking about a guy who's chasing Favre, comes in second ultimately. That means a lot. There's a lot of value wrapped up in that. Now, Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls, but it's not just that he won 2 Super Bowls. He won 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and you can argue that the first one maybe could have gone to Strahan, but he got it, and he's as good a candidate as any, and he won the second one legit. That's 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Only 5 players in history have ever done that. They're all in the Hall of Fame, other than Eli. How did he get to the Super Bowl? He went on the road and beat Brett Favre at Lambeau, and then Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau, in 2 different Super Bowl runs. I mean, it's not like he beat Tom Brady twice. Tony Romo and other really good quarterbacks. He outplayed them. I always bring this up because Nate Silver, 538, did it. They want to know who's the most clutch quarterback in postseason history. And they had this formula to do it. Eli Manning came in #1 by so much. They said something has to be wrong with this. Let's redo our methodology. And when they redid the methodology, Eli came in first again, this time just a little bit ahead of Joe Montana. So if you're an Iron Man and you can compile because you're good enough to stay on the field, you win 2 Super Bowls and you outplay legends at Lambeau on the way, and you got 2 Super Bowl MVPs, one of only 5, and you're the most clutch quarterback in the history of the playoffs. I understand for the reason Stephen A. said you're borderline, but I think you get in. And finally, here's my worry, Vic. Here's my worry. He's 500 right now in the regular season. He's won as much as he's lost. If he starts these games now and he starts losing and he winds up a sub-500 quarterback, because even guys like me admit this is a borderline situation, I'm afraid he can push himself back behind the line. I wish he'd have already retired.
I don't think it matters. I think his legacy is already cemented. I think what hurts Eli, especially from the era that he's come from, the Donovan McNabbs and everybody like that, it isn't sexy. When you watch Eli Manning play, the numbers, it isn't sexy when you watch him play. But like you said, Max, he's one of 5 guys with multiple Super Bowl MVPs. All those other guys are in the Hall of Fame. He has 37 game-winning drives. And I've been there for, 12 of them. And the guy understands how to get the job done. The guy has played at his best when it matters most, and he's done it with the hardest tenure, going on the road to do it, beating an undefeated New England Patriot team that no one thought they could be beat that year, and he beat them in the playoffs. He's the guy that understands his role, understands who he is and what he means to the New York Giants organization. And I think his play, because it's not the sexiest guy, he's not going to roll out the pocket and make the sexy throw on the run. He's not going to do that. So it doesn't, on paper, it doesn't look, or when you watch him play, it doesn't look like he's having this great season after season. He's just getting it done week in and week out. I understand that, you know, the numbers throughout the season, he's 500 right now, and that could be, negated with the rest of these games moving forward. But I think when you look at when it's time to play and when it's time to be at your very best for a span of time, I think Eli Manning has accomplished that. And I think he's done things that other quarterbacks and on other teams would only dream of doing. 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl runs.
Victor,
in convincing fashion.
You brought up Donovan McNabb. Do you think he should be in the Hall of Fame?
I do.
I think he does, yes. I think he does belong in the Hall of Fame because of the same body of work that Eli has. Okay, he doesn't have the Super Bowl, but he has the body of work, and it looks sexy. When you watch Donovan play, it looks good. He's rolling out, he's throwing on the run, he's got playmakers, he's throwing the ball downfield. It looks better than what Eli Manning does.
He got to the NFC Championship game every year. I think Donovan McNabb's still in the NFC Championship game.
So you're saying both McNabb and Eli?
Yes, but I want to focus on Eli for a second. Victor Cruz brings up a great point about Eli. You know the old saying, like, if you can't tell the story of an era without including that guy's name, that's a Hall of Famer. You brought up a great point about that Patriots team he beat in 07. They were undefeated, and they were about to be coronated. That Super Bowl was not a game. It was a coronation of the Patriots. It was supposed to be. As the greatest team in the history of American team sports. Forget about the 27 Yankees. Forget about the 72-win Bulls team. Forget about the undefeated Dolphins. The Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Randy Moss Patriots were going to be, forget about the 85 Bears, they were going to be the greatest team in the history of football, the greatest team in the history of American team sports, and Eli Manning with that hookup to David Tyree first and then the touchdown pass to Burris and the MVP did the impossible. Well, you can't tell the story of the era without Eli Manning.
Listen, you can sit up there and say that all you want to. There's plenty of NFL stories that I've heard about that didn't include Eli Manning. I don't miss them. The fact of the matter is, let's call it what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Eli Manning, not counting this season, in his previous 11 years, he made the postseason 3 times. Y'all just going to ignore the fact that 8 of 11 times.
But that can't be the only benchmark, Stephen.
Wait a minute. I'm not saying. Hold on. Now, let me tell you why it can be. Because we're talking Hall of Fame. Now, if I said the man can't play, if I say he doesn't deserve to be a starting quarterback, if I say he didn't deserve to be paid, if I said he was a scrub, now I'm crossing the line. Well, because all of those things are not applicable. But when we talk about it, and let me just point this out. We got Peyton Manning, his brother. Eli Manning is 116 and 116. He has a career 500 record. His brother is 186 and 79.
Who you rather have under pressure?
Let me finish. That's not the point.
When it's on the line.
Oh, wait a minute.
Eli,
wait, time
easy.
out. Listen, do y'all want to? I sat here and I let y'all speak. Did I say anything? I mean, did you see me say anything?
No, you were quiet.
I was very quiet.
Computer.
My quarterback.
Here's my point to y'all. What I'm saying is, I'm not denying the moments. But if the moments are all it takes to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, why do we dissect Dak Prescott the way that we do? He's had good moments, but he needs to step up.
He hasn't had any Super Bowl moments.
No, I didn't say Super Bowl. I didn't say Super Bowl. I'm talking about moments, period. The point is, Donovan McNabb, 98 and 62. I got Eli Manning as 14th all-time in interceptions with 241. A guy like Donovan McNabb threw 117, and we're questioning whether or not he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
He did play 4 more years, though.
Okay.
By the way, I'm not questioning McNabb. I would put McNabb in the Hall of Fame.
We heard you the first time, Max. You said it. We got it. The point that I'm trying to make is when you're looking at Eli Manning, I just pointed out 10 times in 16 years he missed the playoffs. 8 of the last 11 years, he missed the playoffs. We lamented it so much that Max Kellerman, a diehard Giants fan, came on here for more than a year, damn near tears, because of how bad Eli Manning
when you're cooked, you're cooked.
All I'm saying is this. You look at that combined with the defense that the Giants had at that particular moment in time. I mean, when we bring up Brady and losing to the Eagles, they lost 40-33. I'm saying to you, you look at the Giants, that defense was so elite. The way that it performed in those 2 Super Bowls, we can't ignore that.
Yeah,
Stephen
but
A,
it took
purely,
Eli
hold
to
on,
score.
one second, Victor. Purely playing devil's advocate. This is not my Giants fandom.
Sure.
Okay, so Eli played for 16 seasons and Donovan played for 12.
Okay.
Donovan went to 7 playoff appearances, and Eli has 6. And then Eli has 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Donovan has none.
Talk to him, Molly.
Eli's thrown a lot more interceptions. He did play in more games, so I'm giving it to you there. But then he has the better record. So it's kind of like what we're valuing here, because they're both win. I wish we had the graphics so I could show everybody.
Go ahead,
in those
Victor.
prize moments, Eli Manning not only did it once against arguably the best team ever assembled against the New England Patriots, and then did it again in 2011 when when you look at history, it feels like, okay, he's going up against the Patriots again. He had his number the first time. History might not repeat itself, and he did it again with the pass to Mario Manningham.
You could say that. I beg to differ. First of all, the pass to Mario Manningham was special. The one to David Tyree, you talk about luck.
Yeah, that's
my God, that's fine. But I'm not
special too.
But I'm not holding it against him. I'm simply listen. I am not. Y'all act like I'm saying Eli couldn't play and Eli doesn't deserve credit. I'm saying when you talk about the Hall of Fame in the National Football League, that's a special
Stephen
rule.
A, that's why it's borderline. This is what I'm saying. And to answer Molly's
Well,
question about
I'm coming right to you. If it's borderline, then don't sit up there and talk to me like I'm out of my mind for saying that the brother doesn't deserve it.
I'm not saying you're out of your mind. I'm saying it's borderline. But to answer Molly's question about what we're valuing, I think that, look, there were a lot of quarterbacks on a game-in and game-out basis better than Eli Manning throughout history. Donovan McNabb is clearly one of them. However, if you are solid or above average, like 32 teams, you're usually in the top half, year in, year out, the top half, sometimes the top third in a good year. If you're doing that every year and never missing a game, you're also an Iron Man at that position. And then, under pressure in the playoffs, you're maybe the best who ever did it.
And he's got 2 rings.
That to me is a Hall of Fame.
Let me throw you a Victor Bone. Let me throw you a Victor Bone right here. If that's what you're saying, I'll shut up by saying this. Don't tell me he's great. If you want to say he's a Hall of Famer because of those 2 rings and those big moments, but you're willing to concede that when we talk about great quarterbacks in NFL history, that's not a category he's in, but we want to put him in the Hall of Fame because those 2 rings matter, I'll shut up. But when you talk about great quarterbacks,
it's also being top 10 in every statistical category.
Eli Manning's a great quarterback, y'all. Are both of y'all sitting here saying that Eli Manning?
That's what we're arguing. What is greatness?
Excuse me. That wasn't what we just learned that from you. You didn't tell us that before you swear.
Well, I'm revealing it now.
Thank you very much. You took about 10 damn minutes.
Well,
the point that I'm trying to make to you is this: if y'all want to categorize Hall of Fame credentials and separate that from greatness, I got nothing to say. But if you're telling me that a Hall of Famer means you're one of the great quarterbacks in NFL history, I beg to differ when we talk about Eli Manning, who I respect.
Eli
I really
Manning
respect
is
him.
not in the inner sanctum of the Hall of Fame,
Okay,
right?
fine.
There are levels.
We'll give you that. We'll give you that,
What I'm
Stephen A.
saying is, Vic,
We heard what you said, the inner sanctum.
What we're really arguing is what is greatness, and does Eli qualify? If you're an Iron Man, if you keep your head up, better than average for 16 years, and you in the biggest moments are among the best who ever did
That's
it,
got to
that
account
is
for something.
greatness.
That's got to account for something.
Victor,
He's top 10 in every category.
Victor, who has a stronger case in your opinion? Is it Eli or Donovan?
Well, I think it's Eli because of the Super Bowls. I think it's Donovan because of the body of work, but Eli Manning because of the Super Bowl MVPs.
Fair enough. That was some entertaining debate, fellas.
I love it.
Y'all definition.
That was good.
Listen,
You guys were going
Max
at
want
it.
to sit
That
up
was
there and classify it. All I'm saying is, if there's a dichotomy that exists between greatness and a Hall of Fame quarterback, don't wait 10 to 12 minutes to make that damn argument. Tell us up front.
Well,
you didn't tell us that.
I had to
you didn't tell us that.
I had to reveal at the end of the.
All right, whatever.
Okay.
So you're going to tell us the definition of something at the end, as opposed to the beginning.
You didn't make that point in the beginning.
You know what I'm saying? Please.
Guys, love the passion.
Please.
We got to pay some bills. Victor, thank you for joining us.
No
Always
problem.
a good time.
Thanks, guys.
I like the Blazer, man.
Many believe Jason Garrett has lost the Cowboys, but find out why even a loss wouldn't be the end of the world for Dallas's coach. Second hour coming up next.